The news is official. Rampage Jackson has been arrested on a felony assault charge. After weeks of speculation, outrage, and endless debates online, law enforcement finally stepped in, confirming what many people felt should have happened the very next day after the incident. TMZ first broke the story, and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department inmate search quickly verified it. Raja, the son of MMA legend Rampage Jackson, was taken into custody early Thursday morning. At just 25 years old, he now sits behind bars with his bail set at $50,000. What makes this arrest so shocking isn't just who Raja is, but how it all unfolded. This wasn't some behind closed doors altercation or a vague accusation that people had to piece together. The violent moment that led to his arrest was streamed live for the world to see. Fans tuned in expecting entertainment, but what they got was a disturbing glimpse of how far things can go when anger mixes with the pressure of a live audience. Raja's every move was broadcast in real time, leaving no room for doubt and no way to spin the narrative in his favor. And that's what makes this case resonate with so many people. It's not only about the crime, but also about how undeniable the evidence was. When violence is captured and shared without filters or edits, the usual excuses don't hold weight. Raja thought he could play by his own rules, but the system proved otherwise. His arrest marks the moment where internet clout collided with real-world accountability. And now, there's no turning back. When the news first broke Thursday morning, plenty of people didn't buy it. After all, Raja had been walking free for nearly a month, even though his violent outburst was available for anyone to watch on replay. But official court and jail records left no doubt. He was booked into Los Angeles County Jail on a felony charge, with his bail set at $50,000. The details were clear, and they carried far more weight than any rumors ever could. For many fans and critics, this moment brought a strange mix of emotions. On one hand, there was a sense of relief. Justice was finally catching up to someone who seemed untouchable. On the other, there was frustration, even anger, that it had taken this long. Viewers saw the video, they watched him threaten violence before delivering it. The evidence wasn't buried or hidden, it was broadcast for the internet to dissect. So why did the wheels of justice grind so slowly? That delay only made the arrest hit harder once it finally happened. Raja went from flaunting his freedom on social media to sitting in a cold cell within hours. His story shows how quickly fortunes can change when legal systems finally act. The reality is simple. Ignoring consequences doesn't make them vanish. Raja might have thought that he could skate by, but the moment those cuffs went on, the weight of his choices came crashing down, reminding everyone watching that accountability might be delayed, but it never disappears entirely. The moment that led to Raja's downfall wasn't whispered about in rumors or hidden in a police report. It unfolded in front of thousands of eyes during a live broadcast at Knox Pro Academy in Los Angeles. Raja climbed into the ring during what was supposed to be a performance, but instead of following the plan, he crossed a line that no one expected. First came the body slam, sudden, forceful, and completely out of sync with the flow of the show. What followed was even worse. Over 20 punches delivered straight to the head of Psycho Stu, who appeared to already be unconscious. Viewers who tuned in for a wrestling event watched in shock as the entertainment they signed up for instantly turned into something violent and disturbingly real. There was no suspension of disbelief, no question of whether this was scripted. The sound of each strike, the sight of an opponent lying motionless, it was all undeniable. Social media erupted within minutes, clips spreading across platforms as people debated what they had just witnessed. Was this part of the show, or had Raja completely lost control? The truth was hard to ignore. Wrestling often blurs the line between performance and reality, but this was different. It was clear from Raja's actions and the stunned silence in the room that the performance had ended the moment he let his anger take over. What started as a spectacle, meant to entertain, became evidence in a felony case. And once that video was circulating online, it was only a matter of time before police were forced to step in. The aftermath of that live stream wasn't measured only in views and shares. It was written on the body of Psycho Stu. Reports later confirmed just how much damage Raja had inflicted in those few chaotic moments. Psycho Stu suffered multiple facial fractures, severe trauma to both his upper and lower jaw, a fractured maxilla bone, deep cuts to his lip, and even the loss of several teeth. Doctors treated him, calling the injury serious, and it became clear this wasn't just a brief scuffle. It was a violent attack with long-lasting consequences. For the wrestling community, this hit especially hard. Wrestlers are no strangers to injuries, but those usually come from stunts gone wrong or accidents in the heat of performance. This was different. This was a colleague being assaulted during what was supposed to be a controlled show. It raised questions about safety, trust, and how one reckless decision can put someone's career and health in jeopardy. Fans who once debated whether Raja's actions were scripted had their answer in the most painful way possible. The blood, the fractures, and the hospital stay told a real story. And this is where the outrage truly ignited. The incident was no longer just about a fight in the ring or a streamer's bad judgment. It's about the lasting harm one man caused another. Each new detail about Psycho Stu's injuries made the public more convinced that Raja's arrest wasn't just justified, it was necessary. The entertainment had ended, but the consequences were only beginning to unfold. If there was ever any doubt about what really happened that night, Knox Pro Wrestling Academy quickly cleared the air. In the days following the live stream, the Academy released a statement that pulled no punches. They described Raja's actions as selfish, reckless, and outright reprehensible. For an organization built on the art of choreographed performance, this was more than just an embarrassment. It was a betrayal of everything wrestling stands for. Knox Pro Wrestling explained that the segment was meant to be a performance, a spot carefully planned out between wrestlers to entertain the crowd. Instead, Raja turned into something entirely different. His decision to keep hitting an opponent who was clearly vulnerable went against every rule of trust and professionalism in the ring. Wrestling relies on cooperation. Performers put their bodies in each other's hands, trusting that the other won't cross certain lines. Raja shattered that trust in a matter of seconds. Fans and wrestlers alike backed Knox's response. Many called it the only responsible response to a situation that could have ended in tragedy. The statement painted Raja not as a misunderstood performer, but as someone who abused the platform he was given. For the Academy, distancing themselves was a way to protect their reputation. For everyone else watching, it was confirmation that this wasn't a stunt gone wrong. It was a real act of violence that demanded accountability, no matter who Raja's father was. While the Academy condemned Raja, his father offered a very different perspective. Rampage Jackson stepped forward, insisting the incident wasn't as clear-cut as it seemed. In his version of events, the fight was supposed to be a performance, a work in wrestling terms, that's spiraled out of control. He suggested that Psycho Stu had blindsided Raja earlier in the day with a hit to the head, which left his son angry and less willing to play by the rules once the cameras were rolling. Rampage also revealed a key detail that raised eyebrows. Raja had recently suffered a concussion. According to him, his son had no business stepping into any situation involving physical contact, let alone a wrestling ring. If true, this put the incident in a different light. Was Raja acting out of uncontrolled anger? Or was he a young man who should have never been put in that position in the first place? Rampage wanted the public to see his son as someone vulnerable, reaching in the heat of the moment, rather than a criminal with violent intent. But not everyone bought that explanation. To critics, it sounded like an excuse, a way for a father to protect his son's reputation after a public disaster. The livestream left little room for interpretation. Raja had made a choice, and that choice ended with another man in the hospital. Rampage's defense, while emotional, only deepened the debate. Was he shielding his son from the truth? Or was he revealing just how unprepared Raja was for the world he stepped into? Either way, the defense highlighted the growing divide between the family's narrative and the reality captured on video. No matter how Rampage tried to explain the situation, the legal system saw it differently. Official records confirm Raja was booked on a felony assault charge, and that's not something courts take lightly. Bail was set at $50,000, a figure his family could easily cover, but still a sign that prosecutors were treating this case as serious. What raised even more speculation was how the charge might evolve. With injuries as severe as Psycho Stu's, there's always the possibility that prosecutors could pursue even harsher counts if new medical evidence comes forward. In California, a conviction for felony assault can carry up to 4 years in state prison, but that's just the baseline. When a case involves serious bodily injury, multiple fractures, and clear video evidence, sentencing enhancements can push the penalty higher. Some legal experts estimate Raja could realistically be facing anywhere from 5 to 7 years behind bars, depending on how the charges are filed and how the court interprets intent. And for many in the public, even that doesn't feel like enough. They argue that Raja's case should be used to make an example, a warning to anyone who believes violence during a live event is acceptable simply because it's happening in front of a live audience. This is where the outrage extends beyond one person's crime. Raja isn't the first performer to let anger spill over during a broadcast, but he might become the most visible. Each year, More and more events are streamed live, and the pressure of an audience can push people to extremes. But Raja's arrest proves otherwise. A camera doesn't protect you from consequences. In fact, it can be the very thing that seals your fate. And for many, the only way to stop others from chasing clout through violence is to see Raja face the full weight of the law. The tragedy of the situation goes beyond one night in Los Angeles. Raja Jackson wasn't some unknown name fighting for recognition. He was born into privilege that most fighters and entertainers could only dream of. As the son of Rampage Jackson, his last name carried weight in both MMA and wrestling. People paid attention to him not because he had carved his own path, but because his father's fame gave him a spotlight from the very beginning. He had every advantage: connections in the industry, opportunities others grind for years to get, and an audience that was willing to watch him simply because of who he was. Yet instead of that platform to build something meaningful, Raja leaned into chaos. His reputation grew less from skill and more from controversy, from moments that blurred the line from entertainment and recklessness. The Knox Pro incident was the ultimate example, a chance to shine on a live broadcast that instead exposed his lack of control. And now, in one night, even that opportunity is gone. What could have been a performance remembered for drama and spectacle will instead be remembered as evidence in a courtroom. The same video that gave him attention is now the proof of his downfall. Raja's story isn't about missed potential anymore, it's about wasted privilege. And for many watching, it's a reminder that no matter how much opportunity someone is given, poor decisions can erase it all in seconds. For many observers, the fall isn't about Raja, it's also about Rampage Jackson and the role he played in shaping his son. An old clip resurfaced where Rampage admitted he had saved up bail money for Raja and his brother instead of college tuition. At the time, some laughed it off as the words of a tough-love father. Now, in the wake of Raja's arrest, those words sound less like a joke and more like a prophecy. Critics argue that this mindset didn't just prepare for failure, it encouraged it. What made things even more unsettling was Rampage's own admission that he hadn't spoke to Raja since the incident. In a livestream, he bluntly said he doesn't talk to his son anymore, distancing himself at the exact moment Raja's future hangs in the balance. For many fans, this was a shocking reveal. The idea that a father could turn his back so quickly, especially after years of defending and enabling his son's behavior, instead of addressing the family crisis. Rampage has been seen focusing on his own streaming ventures, collaborating with personalities online, as if his son's arrest was just another headline. The bigger issue here isn't whether Rampage can hire good lawyers or post bail, it's whether his approach to fatherhood contributed to Raja's downfall. By shielding his son from consequences in the past and now abandoning him when accountability finally arrives, Rampage has created a lose-lose situation. Some believe his absence is just as damaging as is enabling. Either way, it's clear that the family's legacy is now permanently stained. It's no longer just Raja on trial in the court of public opinion. Rampage's parenting, both past and present, is under judgment too. When the dust settles, the story of Raja Jackson will be remembered as much more than a single fight gone wrong. It began with a shocking live broadcast that exposed him to the world, escalated into an arrest for felony assault, and now stands as a cautionary tale about wasted privilege, questionable parenting, and the dangers of chasing attention on a digital stage. The arrest made headlines because of who Raja's father is, but it stayed in the spotlight because of how undeniable the evidence was. Fans didn't have to rely on speculation. They saw the body slam, the punches, and the aftermath with their own eyes. They heard the Academy condemn him. They watched Rampage defend him, and they seen the legal system finally step in. At every stage, the drama played out publicly, leaving no room to rewrite the narrative. The lingering questions now hang heavy. Will prosecutors push for the harshest penalties? Will Raja spend years behind bars? Or will his father's resources help him escape with a lighter sentence? And most importantly, will this case serve as a warning shot the industry needs? Proof that there are limits, even in the pursuit of clout and entertainment? Raja Jackson's downfall is more than a headline about an arrest. It's a wake-up call. It shows quickly how opportunity can turn into disaster when anger takes control, and how even the brightest spotlight can expose every flaw. For the wrestling world, for his family, and for anyone watching live broadcast today, The message is clear: actions have consequences, and no amount of fame will ever erase them.